I have lost my memory. Upon opening my eyes, I find myself lying on a hospital bed. As soon as the nurse notices my awakening, she promptly summons the doctor for an examination. Subsequently, a resplendent noblewoman, adorned in high heels, approaches my bedside, her eyes filled with an unmistakable disdain. I do not recognize her. I merely surmise that she must be ill, having come to gawk at the misfortunes of others in the ward. How do you feel? Does your head still ache? Are you experiencing any nausea? May I inquire if you are the doctor? Indeed, I am. Am I in a hospital? Yes, do you not remember? I do not. Humph. How can you still have the audacity to claim you do not remember? The noblewoman suddenly interjects with a sarcastic tone. I found myself in a state of bewilderment, blinking twice in hesitation. Excuse me, madam, what did you call me? Auntie. Oh, my apologies, kind soul. What did you call me? Gazing at the noblewoman's grotesque visage, I felt utterly at a loss. What should I address her as? Benefactor?
Chu Wen Wen.
Cease the charade at once.
Chu Wen Wen.
Is that truly my name? The noblewoman paused for a brief moment, then her expression contorted with disdain once more.
Chu Wen Wen.
Do you think feigning amnesia will absolve you? Let me tell you, my greatest regret in life was bringing you back. Why didn't you perish out there?
No, madam.
Who exactly are you? Her words dripped with sarcasm and venomous intent. Am I truly venomous? I shall strike you down for your disgraceful antics. Who would lie still on a bed and be battered? The moment she charged at me, I retaliated with a swift kick. She was sent sprawling to the ground, her face a mask of disbelief. The sudden exertion left me feeling queasy, and just as the noblewoman screeched to attack me again, I vomited, splattering her entirely. She shrieked and fled, my world spinning in chaos. The next time I regained consciousness, it was already the following day. I was parched and famished, and as I searched the hospital room, I stumbled upon a tattered backpack, bulging with contents, and a set of filthy clothing. The garments bore the insignia of some private high school, presumably a uniform. I rifled through the pockets, finding nothing but refuse, and when I emptied the backpack, a collection of books emerged beneath the debris. After perusing all the volumes, I arrived at two conclusions. First, my name is indeed Chu Wenwen. Second, I had been bullied at school. Since I had arrived at the hospital in a uniform, it was highly likely that I had been assaulted at school. That lunatic from earlier truly recognized me. How dreadful. It was evident she harbored disdain for me. My stomach growled, protesting my hunger. A lack of sustenance was hardly conducive to coherent thought, so I rose from the bed, determined to find something to eat. Upon stepping out of my room, I encountered several individuals approaching. I quickly sidestepped to let them pass, but one man in a suit seized my wrist. Where do you think you're going? I was startled, struggling to free myself. Who are you? Why are you grabbing me? Help! Someone's trying to abduct me. Chu Wenwen, don't act insane. I opened my mouth to bite the man's wrist, and he winced in pain, releasing me. I turned and fled, hiding behind a doctor I recognized. Doctor, call the police. There are kidnappers here. As I shouted, the patients in the nearby rooms peered out, intrigued. The man in the suit turned an awkward shade, addressing the figure in black beside him. Apologies, Mr. Wei, my daughter lacks proper upbringing. The man in black remained silent, while a youth beside him frowned. The suited man shouted at me, Chu Wenwen, come here this instant. I clung to the doctor's coat, eyeing him warily. Who are you? I am your father. I hesitated, looking at the doctor. Is that true? The doctor's expression was one of exasperation. How would I know? I turned to Chu's father. How can you prove it? He appeared embarrassed and was about to scold me, but the tall man beside him restrained him. They bore a striking resemblance, likely father and son.
Dad.
Allow me to speak. Wenwen, we are family. You can express yourself without resorting to such extreme measures to gain our attention. This individual effortlessly painted me as a troublesome child seeking attention through nonsensical antics. The onlookers began to murmur and point, but I remained unfazed. And who might you be? The man fell silent for a moment, his tone growing colder. Chu Wenwen, your acting is quite poor. Are you unwell? You wait. The youth next to the man in black interjected, Doctor, has she lost her memory? Indeed. Miss Chu is suffering from amnesia, likely a consequence of a head injury.
Now.
All eyes turned to the Chu family with a strange expression. Unable to find food, I returned to my hospital bed. Miss Chu has long suffered from anemia. Her health is quite poor, and she bears multiple injuries of varying ages. My stomach growled once more, a sound that drew everyone's attention and interrupted the doctor. I had gone an entire day without food or water and could no longer suppress my hunger. I felt somewhat aggrieved. Had they not restrained me, I would have located sustenance by now. Chu's father remained unmoved, his gaze suggesting he wished for my demise through starvation. The youth resembling him was addressed as we're watching. I'll get you something to eat. Finally, a smile broke across my face.
All right.
You may continue. I will do my best to control myself. The doctor's voice resumed, and I turned to glance at the youth beside me. Clad in a loose sweatshirt, he stared intently at me. When I met his gaze, he suddenly wore a malevolent grin. Do you remember how you ended up in the hospital? I don't recall. You know? His starry eyes seemed to measure the truth of my words. I pushed you down the stairs.
Why?
Do you wish to kill me? Of course not. It was merely an accident. Oh, how unfortunate for you. The youth appeared taken aback by my response, chuckling. You're the one in the hospital. Why should I be unfortunate? Can you recount what transpired? I remember nothing. Since you remember nothing, what significance does it hold to tell you? I merely suspect you were unaware and became a scapegoat.
What?
The youth furrowed his brow. What do you mean?
Clarify.
I pointed to the cabinet. Inside is my backpack and uniform. The backpack is filled with trash, the books are all torn, and the clothes are caked in dirt. So, I must have been bullied. If that person who did it wasn't you then. Whose takeout is that?
Mine.
I exclaimed, raising my hand excitedly, gazing at the delivery man's food as though it were a beacon of hope. Just as I prepared to devour it, the youth snatched my lunchbox away. Even if I am uneducated, I know patients should consume light meals, not kung pao chicken. The youth's bright voice felt like a slap to Chu's father's face, causing some embarrassment for him as well. Mr. Wei appeared astonished, as though witnessing something extraordinary. Indeed, and the patient has not eaten for a day and a night. She requires easily digestible food, the doctor interjected. Didn't you say she woke yesterday? Has no one brought her food? Under the youth's questioning, Chu's father stammered. We were a bit busy. No worries, I don't mind. As long as there's food, I'm content. Like a ravenous wolf, I snatched back the kung pao chicken and shoved it into my mouth, retreating to the edge of the pillow, keeping my distance from the youth.
Chu Wen.
The youth attempted to stop me, but I devoured the food with reckless abandon, desperately swallowing it down. You could choke, eat slowly. We're not competing. Mr. Wei grasped the youth's arm, stepping back. I finally began to chew slowly, though my eyes remained vigilant. I won't take yours. I'll pour you water. A nurse rushed over, handing me a cup of water. At last, I managed to swallow the food down, but before I could take another bite, an intense burning sensation surged through my throat. If one day I must perish, I hope it is from gluttony, rather than in this moment, clutching my throat and struggling to breathe. My throat felt as if it were ablaze, and after the doctor's intervention, the food I had just eaten was violently expelled. Is this food poisoned? No, it's an allergic reaction. Miss Lin has hereditary allergies. It's peanuts. Chu Ruoqing's countenance darkened as she gazed at the remaining box meal, which contained kung pao chicken rice. It was evident that her father, Chu, was visibly distressed, casting an unpleased look at me. You are allergic to peanuts. Do you not realize this yourself? I opened my mouth, but the burning sensation in my throat rendered me voiceless.
What?
I attempted to speak again, straining to articulate. Do not, remember. Chu's father, lacking the patience to decipher my lip movements, resorted to typing on his phone. Bewildered, I realized I did not possess such a device, as neither my backpack nor my clothing pockets contained one. In a bid to convey my message, I spread my hands helplessly. Then write it down. I reluctantly rummaged through the cluttered cabinet for my backpack. After extricating a heap of rubbish, I finally unearthed a notebook. Why are you shoving trash into your backpack? I shot a look at Chu's father, as if to say, are you foolish? The pages of the notebook, whether written on or blank, were rife with various insults. Bitch, trash, worthless, slut. A young man casually picked up a book, its surface marred with scratches, paint, and even glue. The word bullying echoed in their minds, and an oppressive silence enveloped the entire hospital room. At last, I found a blank space and wrote, "I do not remember what I am allergic to. I am hungry." The young man retrieved his phone, and I ordered kanji, which arrived promptly. I scrawled on the paper, "You are a good person, an exceptionally good person. Let bygones be bygones. I am no longer angry about you pushing me." After he read my words slowly, his expression became somewhat unnatural as he met my beaming gaze. "Mr. Wei, since when one has said so, then it is settled. Thank you for coming." Chu's father nodded and bowed, his demeanor obsequious. "Yes, Mr. Wei, the Wei family will cover the medical expenses." "No need, no need. Children are tough. It's nothing serious." Upon hearing the mention of medical fees, I immediately scribbled fervently and presented it to the man. "Why not just give the money to me? I do not know them. They will take my money." After reading my note, Chu's father scolded coldly, "Chu Wenwen, what nonsense are you spouting? Wenwen, you are temporarily amnesiac and cannot remember us, but we are truly your family." I shot them a disdainful glance before writing again. "In the morning, an aunt said she wanted to kill me. In the afternoon, you deliberately made me allergic. This is premeditated murder." "What aunt?" "That is your mother." Chu's father was evidently furious. "Wenwen, regarding the peanuts, it was your brother's fault. If you must blame someone, blame me. Do not take it out on your mother.
She is very worried about you."
I recalled hearing that when I was unconscious, no one had been there to care for me. They had only come after I woke up. "I do not trust you." After the young man read my words aloud, both the Wei father and son regarded Chu's parents with a peculiar gaze. "No, it is not like that. We were just a bit busy." "Are you truly Chu Wenwen's family? When one's child has been harmed to the point of amnesia, one would go to great lengths to help, would they not?" Mr. Wei interjected, "Young Master Wei is unaware. This child has grown accustomed to lying." "Lying? Is she lying about the bump on her head, the injuries on her body, the life-threatening allergy? She can barely speak, and you still wish to label her a liar. Do you truly share the same blood?" Chu's father, who had dominated the business world for years, had never been questioned so pointedly by a young man, yet the Wei family was a rising political power. What was the Chu family in comparison? The man seemed taken aback by his son's unexpected concern for the girl, which piqued his interest. "Wei Lin," he said, halting his son, who was about to say more. "Since the Chu family is so busy, and Miss Chu was injured because of Wei Lin, we shall send someone to care for her until she fully recovers. This visit will conclude here. Wei Lin, bid farewell to Miss Chu. We shall take our leave." Wei Lin, though evidently in a foul mood, turned to me and said, "I am leaving. Take care of your injuries." He added, "I will come to see you again." I nodded, further convinced that this person was not among those who bullied me at school. I had thought Wei Lin's promise to return would at least take until the following day, but to my surprise, he arrived that very afternoon. He carried a thermal container and asked, "Have you had lunch?" I shook my head. After the Chu family's departure, they had all left together. And since the kanji that morning, I had eaten nothing. To pass the time, I was meticulously deciphering the original text in my books. The young man opened the thermal container, and a rich aroma wafted toward me, provoking a strong urge to swallow. Originally intending to present it to me, he moved it further away, explaining, "It is very hot. Wait for it to cool." I reached for my notebook to write, but he stopped me. "Let me show you something cool." He then produced a box containing the latest model of a smartphone. "From now on, do not write by hand." I nodded, clumsily unwrapping it, but I did not know how to use it. Wei Lin patiently explained the features and even entered his number, adding me as a friend. "If the Chu family bullies you, just call me. I will not be with the Chu family. They cannot bully me." The young man, seemingly recalling something, spoke sympathetically. "They really are your family, so you should definitely be with them." I pressed my lips together and lowered my head to type. "You guessed it. Then you cannot help me. We are too far apart. Next time I might just be a corpse. They do not dare to kill. This is a society governed by law." Peanut allergy. The young man fell silent upon reading the 4 words I typed. If it were truly the case that a peanut allergy could lead to her untimely demise, would he be able to save her in time? The answer was evidently no. "Do not worry, I will think of a way." "Thank you. You are truly kind." "I am not a good person," he said, awkwardly turning his face away. Wei Lin visited nearly every day, bringing meals prepared by their family's cook. Initially, it was congee, but soon it evolved into a variety of nutritious dishes. Chu's father ordered Chu's mother to visit me a few times. When Wei Lin was absent, she would mock me. When he was present, she would feign concern. I recorded everything using the phone Wei Lin had given me and sent it to him. On the weekend, Chu's mother arrived with Chu Miao Miao. I knew they had come for Wei Lin. However, he had messaged me the night before, stating that he was going to his maternal grandparents' house for dinner and would not be coming, but he would have Uncle Zhou, the family driver, deliver food to me. They anxiously waited until nearly noon, yet Wei Lin did not arrive. Chu Miao Miao snatched the book from my hands. It was the textbook and class notes Wei Lin had brought me, the origins of which I was unaware. Why hasn't Wei Lin come? I do not know. You could ask him yourself. Did you tell him not to come? What am I, some great figure to command him? Where is your phone? Hand it over. On what grounds? Chu Miao Miao reached out to grab it, and I hurled an English-Chinese dictionary at her face.
Ah!
Chu Wenwen, you dare to hit me? If you continue to act up in front of me, I will do much more than just hit you. Chu hurriedly protected Chu Miao Miao, pointing at me and cursing. Had I known you would grow up to be like this, I should have suffocated you when you were born. Do you think I care for someone like you to be my mother? I do not even remember you, yet you come rushing to the hospital, wanting to fish for a wealthy son-in-law? Truly shameful. You. What about you? Your daughter cannot even make a connection with anyone at school. And yet she comes to the hospital on weekends to put on a show. Just seeing you makes me feel nauseous. Chu's mother, infuriated, attempted to strike me, but I would not allow it. I grabbed a pillow and hurled it at her, then seized the fruit knife from the bedside table, ready to stab. Chu's mother seized my wrist, while Chu Miao Miao rushed forward to wrest the knife from my grasp. I obediently relinquished the fruit knife, raising my foot to kick at Mother Chu's knee. She recoiled in pain, knocking over a nearby vase, which served as a signal that those outside would soon burst in. Amidst the sound of shattering glass, I seized Chu Miao Miao's hands, yanking her toward the hospital bed, and in the ensuing fall, the knife in her grasp plunged into my shoulder. Upon seeing me subdued, Mother Chu rushed forward, slapping me across the face. Uncle Zhou and the doctors swiftly intervened, pulling her away. I met Chu Miao Miao's somewhat dazed expression. Her eyes reflected a hint of confusion, but predominantly a sense of relief. The police arrived promptly, and based on everyone's testimonies, Mother Chu and Chu Miao Miao were taken back to the station under charges of intentional assault. Uncle Zhou called Wei Lin, who arrived swiftly, accompanied by Wei's father. Wei's father took Uncle Zhou aside to inquire about the incident. Wei Lin's gaze fell upon the crimson stain on my shoulder and the swelling on my face. I sensed his rising anger, but after a lengthy grimace, he merely asked, "Does it hurt?" I glanced up at him, my eyes reddened, and replied, "Not too bad." "Not too bad? You've been stabbed. With a fruit knife." "It's still a knife." I pouted, making an effort to reach for the insulated food container. "Haven't you eaten?" Wei Lin exclaimed, swiftly opening the container and laying out the food on the table. I picked up my chopsticks and began to eat leisurely. "Fortunately, you were wounded in your left shoulder. Otherwise, you might starve to death." I remained silent, but inwardly echoed his thoughts. Thank goodness. After I finished my last bite, Father Chu and Chu Rukin arrived, immediately demanding that I sign a letter of forgiveness. Before I could utter a word, Wei Lin interjected angrily, "Forgive my foot. They came to the hospital to commit assault. They should be imprisoned." Father Chu's irritation was palpable. After all, they were his wife and daughter. How could he allow them to face imprisonment? "Young Master Wei, you are unaware of the circumstances. It was Wenwen who first attacked Miao Miao with the fruit knife. They were merely acting in self-defense. Have you lost your mind? This is a hospital, a patient's ward. Did Wenwen force them to come here?" Father Chu, unwilling to engage further with Wei Lin, turned his attention to me. My thin face had recently gained a modicum of flesh thanks to Wei Lin's care, but I still bore the appearance of someone devoid of fortune. As Mother Chu had once remarked, "Wenwen, we are family. There is no need to make our relationship so tense. Eventually, you will return home." Was Father Chu threatening his own daughter? Wei's father, accompanied by Uncle Zhou, entered the ward, evidently displeased with his words. "No, that's not it. We are all family. There are no overnight grudges." Father Chu involuntarily displayed a sycophantic demeanor. Were it not for the pressure from the Wei family, He would have long since secured the release of Mother Chu and Meow Meow without needing to plead now. Family? You have the audacity to utter that. I, an outsider, have witnessed your attempts to harm your own kin on 2 occasions. That is not true. It was all an accident. Merely an accident. Wen. I have spoken with your mother and sister. It was all an accident. They are not my mother and sister. You're not my family. Father Chu attempted to chastise me, but, deterred by the Wei family's presence, refrained. So, what do you wish to do? Let us proceed according to the standard protocol. If you want a letter of forgiveness, then pay for it. Fine, how much do you want? I hesitated, glancing at Wei Lin, who promptly stated, 20 million. Yes, just 20 million. Had I spoken up, Father Chu would have scolded me for being heartless, but since it was Wei Lin who proposed it, he had no choice but to comply. After hastily acquiring the letter of forgiveness, Father Chu departed, and I received the money in the form of a bank card. I handed the card to Wei Lin. What are you giving this to me for? Keep it safe for me. I'm afraid he might steal it. All right. What a hassle. Wei Lin accepted it into his pocket, a slight smile curling at the corner of his mouth. Wei Lin, step outside and wait for me. I have something to discuss with Wen. Dad, what are you planning? Don't bully her. Go on, I too wish to know what Uncle Wei wants to say. Wei Lin glanced around at the two of us before slowly exiting. Once the door closed, Wei's father chuckled. This is the first time I've seen that kid so obedient. Uncle, didn't you have something to say? Have you truly lost your memory?
Yes.
Then why are you targeting the Chu family? Uncle, I was just minding my own business in the hospital when they came to provoke me. If we're being honest, they were after Wei Lin. So, it's because of the Wei family that you've suffered this unwarranted disaster? No, I am quite grateful to the Wei family. After all, had you not come to visit me, I might have perished. Have you considered that you will eventually return to the Chu family? I cannot allow my son to be entangled in the Chu family's affairs indefinitely. What will you do if such a situation arises again? Uncle, I have already faced death once, just fortunate enough to have survived. If it happens again, I won't lose anything, as I've already gained so many extra days of life. I didn't expect you, at such a young age, to face life and death with such equanimity. Equanimity? Not at all. I am quite frightened. But fear is futile. No one will sympathize with you. In this world, people only bully you. The weaker you are, the more you suffer. You are right. It's good that you have such an awareness. Let us strike a deal. What deal? I will assist you when you need help, but you must ensure my son studies diligently. Uncle, are you aware of my academic performance? I am. But your previous grades were not poor. You simply lacked a conducive learning environment. I will arrange for a tutor and create an environment for you, as long as you can encourage Wei Lin to study alongside you. Uncle, why do you believe I can influence Wei Lin? Simply because you can make him leave without uttering a word. I felt that Wei's father was somewhat overestimating my influence over Wei Lin, but the conditions he offered were undeniably enticing. Thankfully, he did not stipulate which school Wei Lin had to attend. Otherwise, I would have certainly walked away from the deal. I cannot promise anything, but I will do my best. That's all I ask. After Wei's father departed, Wei Lin curiously inquired about our conversation. I disclosed everything, as Father Wei had not instructed me to keep it from Wei Lin.
What?
My dad actually used that tactic?
What does he mean by that?
When have I ever listened to you? The youth's face flushed crimson, and he animatedly protested, his neck and ears turning red. After a moment of silence from me, he awkwardly added, "Don't mind my dad. Studying is my own business. But Wei Lin, I need to study. Do you want me to help you?"
Please.
All right, I'll help you, but I want to study myself. Suit yourself. Once we reached an agreement, Wei's father swiftly arranged for a tutor to come. My foundational knowledge was quite poor, necessitating a fresh start. Wei Lin was punctual, but upon arrival, he immediately began playing games. I ignored him, only requesting he keep the volume down, and he obediently donned his headphones. In a certain sense, he was indeed somewhat obedient. Perhaps seeing the Wei family's attitude towards me, Father Chu began to show concern for my well-being, and even Mother Chu adopted a more benevolent demeanor towards me. Particularly on the day of my discharge, Father Chu brought along a paternity test, making it impossible for me to refuse returning to the Chu family. Besides the warmth from Father Chu and Mother Chu, Chu Rukin ate her meal in silence, while Chu Ruyuan and Chu Ruofeng regarded me with curiosity. Only Chu Miao Miao glared at me with eyes that seemed to burn. Unfortunately, her glare held no lethal power, and I finished my meal undisturbed, returning to the room assigned to me. The following day, I followed Chu Miao Miao into the classroom, narrowly dodging a paper ball that grazed the tip of my nose.
Hey.
Trash, who told you to dodge? Trash, have you really lost your memory?
Trash.
Certainly, here is a refined and elevated version of your text. Chu Miao Miao, of course, would not assist me. She had already returned to her seat, embodying the demeanor of a spectator eagerly awaiting the unfolding drama. I cast my gaze towards the owner of the crumpled paper ball, a boy with tousled yellow hair, a lollipop dangling from his mouth. His face a canvas of disdain and mockery. Beyond his figure lay a desk marred by splashes of paint, adjacent to the classroom's storage cabinets, with a trash bin looming on the other side. To them, this desk was indistinguishable from the refuse bin, as an endless barrage of litter rained down upon it from all directions each day. The towering storage cabinets nearly obliterated all sunlight, leaving only insecurity and timidity to flourish in the shadowy corners. I stooped to retrieve the discarded paper ball, and amidst the cacophony of laughter, I strode purposefully towards the yellow-haired boy, swinging my backpack with intent and hurling it at him. With an expletive, he retaliated with a clenched fist aimed at me. But I was fiercer. I seized a nearby chair and swung it in his direction. He instinctively recoiled, stepping back, and I delivered a swift kick to his abdomen, causing him to stagger against the storage cabinet. Grasping his yellow locks, I brandished a utility knife, poised perilously close to his eye, mere half an inch from the pupil. In a hushed tone, I warned, "Don't tremble. You might lose your sight." The boy widened his eyes in terror, scarcely daring to breathe. I was wrong. Please don't kill me. Where did you err? I pressed. I shouldn't have provoked you, nor thrown trash on your desk, or bullied you. I truly regret it. A pungent odor wafted through the air. The boy had soiled himself in fright.
Zhu Wenwen.
It was Wei Lin's voice. Damn it, close the door. No one is allowed to leave. His subordinates promptly sealed the exits, standing guard like sentinels. I discarded the utility knife and pulled out my phone, aiming it at the yellow-haired boy.
What are you photographing?
Wei Lin interjected, irritation lacing his tone. Just capturing a moment, I replied nonchalantly. Wei Lin then addressed the gathering crowd. Listen up. This incident is solely my doing and involves no one else. If I hear any of you spreading rumors, I will ensure that person cannot remain in this school. With that, he disregarded any responses and pulled me away.
Where are you taking me?
We're about to have class. I protested. What class? You can't keep up with the pace. His words struck a nerve. Wei Lin led me to a cafe near the school's dining hall, producing my books and laying them on the table, then propping up his phone. Study here. The screen displayed a pre-recorded lesson, indicating he had come prepared. And how will you play games? I queried. Can't I just sleep? He retorted. Oh, then sleep away. Warm sunlight streamed through the window, casting a golden hue on the floor, while the earnest focus in the girl's eyes shone brightly, unmarred by shadows.
Zhu Wenwen.
A voice called Chang Min, the top student in the grade, a scholarship recipient plucked from another school by the principal. I gathered my belongings and made my way to the administrative building. Before the young homeroom teacher sat a woman in her 50s, her face caked in thick foundation, her mouth a cavern of spittle, her stout neck adorned with 2 or 3 necklaces, one featuring a red gemstone, while her stubby fingers seemed eager to be laden with rings. Wei Lin had dubbed this ostentation new money flaunting, and I felt a twinge of envy. After all, it was all a display of wealth. Chu Wenwen, how could you bully a classmate? Apologize at once. The teacher chided. Madam, you are mistaken. It was I who was bullied, Wei Lin interjected, stepping protectively in front of me. Ahem, Wei Lin, you needn't take responsibility for her. All the students have informed me it is indeed her fault. Who the hell has time to shoulder others' burdens? If I say it's her, then it is. The teacher, clearly reluctant to provoke the Wei family, endeavored to reason with him in a gentle tone. Yet Wei Lin, unabashedly defiant, ignored her, forcing her to redirect her ire toward me. Chu Wenwen, you are shirking your own mistakes and trying to make others bear the consequences. Do you not feel ashamed for your parents who sent you here? Do you not appreciate the school's investment in your education? Are you out of your mind? I retorted. What did you say? she exclaimed. I said you are out of your mind. To my surprise, the teacher, despite her youth, seemed both hard of sight and hearing. You must have undergone cosmetic surgery to appear so youthful, I mused.
When.
Her agitation was palpable. It was evident I had struck a nerve, perhaps even guessed correctly. At your tender age, you are already flirting with male classmates, shameless. Which of your eyes saw me flirting? Or is it that your mind is so twisted, you spend your days contemplating how to entice others? Could it be you have your sights set on one of the school young lords? I suggested, casting a subtle glance at the ostentatious woman, whose expression indicated she was privy to some unspeakable secret. She instantly grasped my insinuation, springing to her feet in indignation.
What do you mean by that?
I said nothing at all. I took a step back, casting a regretful glance at the homeroom teacher. With a resounding slap, 3 crimson welts etched themselves across the teacher's cheek, undoubtedly from the yellow-haired boy's mother's ring. What are you doing? She shrieked, covering her face. To prevent you from seducing my son. What nonsense are you spouting? With a son like yours, I wouldn't glance his way. As the adage goes, a mother becomes fierce when her child is maligned. The yellow-haired boy's mother immediately grasped the teacher's hair, and chaos ensued. Wei Lin and I quietly retreated from the office. That was ruthless. Wei Lin mouthed a silent thumbs up. When she was spreading rumors about me, she did so with such ease. I merely borrowed a page from her book. Learning the wrong lessons, I shrugged. Wei Lin, hands in pockets, remarked, not bad. The pupil can indeed be taught. Our absence from class and time spent together in the cafe became a topic of whispered gossip throughout the school. Everyone was aware of our camaraderie, and even Wei Lin's minions began calling me sister-in-law. I promptly administered a sound thrashing to one of them, although I refrained from being overly harsh, given Wei Lin's displeasure. Nevertheless, thanks to his influence, I encountered no further harassment, and news traveled swiftly. For instance, the day the office sustained damage to several computers, 2 boys were carried away, bloodied, yet still inquiring after each other's well-being in the ambulance. Ultimately, the homeroom teacher was dismissed, and the yellow-haired boy transferred schools. The students' fear of me escalated further. Just when I believed no one would dare approach me, Chong Min began to linger in my vicinity. After a particularly disheartening quiz, I sighed as I surveyed my abysmal paper. He approached my desk, saying, "You've made progress, congratulations." I looked up, meeting his deep gaze. "Thank you. Do you need assistance?" Indeed. I would be foolish to turn down a free tutor. He settled beside me, beginning to explain my mistakes. I must admit, his voice was pleasant, gentle yet firm. His explanations clear and comprehensible. It was no wonder he ranked first in the grade, though he paled in comparison to the tutor hired by the Wei family.
When.
My name was nearly roared, as Wei Lin's eyes blazed with fury, fixating on me and Chong Min. Yes, what's wrong? What are you doing? Correcting my mistakes. Come with me. Wei Lin stepped forward to grasp my wrist, only to be intercepted by Chong Min. Wei Lin, this is not your classroom. Please refrain from disturbing our studies. He emphasized our, clearly intending to provoke Wei Lin, and the outcome was predictable, he succeeded. I will go wherever I please. When did it become your place to dictate? Even if you are disinterested in studying, you should not disrupt Wenwen's learning. Wei Lin glared past Chong Min at me. Did I disturb you? Not at all, I replied cheerfully. Due to a single remark of mine, Chong Min appeared visibly hurt, offering a bitter smile in response. It turned out that I had overestimated my own significance. Having uttered those words, he retreated, shrouded in silent melancholy. My heart remained unperturbed, merely observing his theatricality with mild amusement. In high school, one is never devoid of an array of quizzes. With relentless diligence, I immersed myself in my studies, gradually managing to keep pace with the curriculum, and thus ceased my visits to the cafe with Wei Lin. Whispers soon circulated among the students, suggesting that my relationship with Wei Lin had encountered turbulence. Chong Min made yet another resurgence, appearing with unrestrained frequency by my side as rumors proliferated. They claimed I was straddling 2 boats, that I had developed affections for another. It was suggested that my admiration for Chong Min stemmed from his top-ranking academic status, rendering Wei Lin unworthy of my attention. The tale escalated, reaching nearly every ear in the school, and inevitably found its way to Wei Lin. Do you truly have feelings for Chong Min? He inquired. Not at all, I replied without lifting my gaze. Then what kind of boy do you like? One who is intelligent and can stand beside me as an equal. Wei Lin fell silent, and I glanced up in curiosity, only to find him lost in a game. Likely unaware of our conversation. Where are you heading, sister? As I prepared to step out one weekend, I was intercepted by Chu Miao Miao. To the Wei residence. What? Didn't you two have a quarrel? What business is that of yours? It's just that I think Wei Lin's temper is terrible, unlike Chong Min, who is both academically gifted and amiable. Do you fancy him? Then go after him. But he likes you. Raising my hand, I delivered a sharp slap, exclaiming, What are you thinking all day? The Chu family didn't spend money for you to ponder these matters. You'd be better off returning to your studies and improving those dismal grades. Initially, Chu father intended to support Chu Miao Miao, but upon hearing my words, he found them reasonable and coldly urged, Stop your nonsense and return to your studies. Chu Miao Miao covered her face and fled to her room, while Chu mother shot me a fierce glare before following to console her. The Wei family welcomed me warmly, assuming I was there to study. Wei Lin even surprisingly accompanied me to class. That evening, Wei mother earnestly invited me to stay over with the tutor for further study the next day. I was more than eager to avoid returning to the Chu residence and readily agreed, continuing my studies into the night. However, my overnight absence sparked fresh rumors that Wei Lin and I had been intimate. Some even suggested that my amnesia was feigned and that I had intentionally fallen to create a scene with Wei Lin. I remained indifferent to the gossip. Yet, Chong Min approached me like a wounded puppy. Wen, are these rumors true? What does it matter to you? He was taken aback, clearly unprepared for my sudden shift in demeanor. In our last class, I had been engaged in his explanations. Now, I displayed no pretense. After a moment of hesitation, he mustered the courage to confess, Wen, I like you. I detest you. Why? He likely expected my rejection to be mild, but I had outright declared my disdain. At our age, should we not focus on our studies instead of being preoccupied with trivial romantic endeavors? Do you not owe it to your parents' expectations of you? To the teachers who have nurtured your growth? To the countless days and nights you have endured? I simply could not comprehend why one would forsake a promising future to indulge in fleeting affections. I don't understand what you're saying. You need not understand. I merely wish to draw a line between us. His face flushed crimson, his eyes revealing a tumult of emotions. I could not discern his thoughts, nor whether his heart was in turmoil. But he did not approach me again until the end of the school day. Ultimately, he sent me a screenshot of our conversation. I smiled, as it seemed I had found a justification for my madness. That night, the Chu family had a gathering to attend. Chu father, accompanied by Chu mother and Chu Ruocheng, left, while Chu Ruyuan was away at university and did not return home. Chu Ruofeng had plans with friends and left after dinner. I retrieved a hammer and an axe from the toolbox and marched toward Chu Miao Miao's room. With a sweeping motion, I struck the doorknob with force. Who's out there? I kicked the door open, and upon seeing the hammer in my hand, she shrieked. Chu Wen, have you lost your mind? I slapped her across the face, sending her sprawling onto the bed. This isn't my first bout of madness. What is the issue? I mounted her, raining blows upon her face. Soon she was dazed, her vision blurred, blood trickling from her lips. I overturned everything on her desk, smashed all that could be shattered in her room, then swung the axe at her princess bed and wardrobe. When the full-length mirror was reduced to shards, I proceeded to the bathroom, demolishing the automated massage bathtub and smashing the sink. Once her room was nearly destroyed, I removed her door. Dear sister, thank you for providing me with a reason to unleash my fury. The three members of the Chu family returned swiftly, likely alerted the moment I departed.
Chu Wen,
Get down here. Chu father's furious voice echoed from the living room. I leisurely opened the door, leaning against the staircase. You need to get down here. Do you even comprehend what you are saying? You reckless child, are you intent on destroying this household? The one intent on destruction is not me, but Chu Miao Miao. You're lying. I did nothing. You barged into my room and assaulted me, wrecking my belongings. Chu Miao Miao protested, covering her bruised face. Upon seeing her beloved daughter in such a state, Chu mother's heart ached, intensifying her hatred for me. You bring misfortune upon us. We should never have brought you back. You ought to have perished out there. Oh, my Miao Miao. Chu Ruocheng chimed in, his voice dark. We can discuss this calmly. Why must you create such chaos? The more Chu father pondered, the angrier he became. Watching. Seize this wretched girl. I shall teach her a lesson today. A sudden axe fell at Chu father's feet, startling both him and Chu Miao Miao. Are you attempting murder? Stay still. I have another one. Chu father, now paralyzed by fear, could only shout impotently. What do you intend to do? You should ask Chu Miao Miao what she planned to do to me, for that ignited my wrath. You struck her, and now wish to accuse her? I am offering you an opportunity. Otherwise, I shall call the authorities, and the Chu family shall face dire consequences. Do you believe I would trust you? If you don't, I shall call the police right now.
Wait.
Chu father, his face darkened, turned to Chu Miao Miao, who was cowering in Chu mother's embrace. Daddy, I did nothing, I swear. Really? You would rather believe this harbinger of doom than your Miao Miao, whom you have nurtured since childhood. Allow me to remind you of kidnapping, extortion, and murder. Does Chu Miao Miao recall anything? Do not be too quick to deny. Since I can articulate it, I certainly possess evidence. You would do well to confess fully, or your father may not be able to plead for you.
Chu Miao Miao,
Trembling in her mother's embrace, displayed a look of guilt that was evident to anyone with eyes. Chu father yanked her and delivered a slap that rendered her unconscious.
Ah.
Miao Miao, call an ambulance. Chu watching turned to me. Are you satisfied now? I have stated repeatedly, if one does not offend me, I shall not offend them. Chu Miao Miao attempted to ensnare me. I was merely polite in destroying her room. Chu Miao Miao was hospitalized and granted a week off from school. Chu mother, expressing her dissatisfaction, stayed by her side in the hospital. Chu Ruofeng glared at me with fury, wishing to avenge Chu Miao Miao. Are you pleased with the state of this household? Chu Ruyuan's cold voice echoed behind me. I am utterly satisfied. I turned my gaze back at Chu Ruyuan, a smile gracing my lips. You should have met your demise at school all those years ago. In accordance with your wish, I have indeed perished. Now, I am but a vengeful spirit seeking retribution. You have not lost your memory. I simply do not comprehend your words. Chu Ruyuan ceased to speak and turned away. That very night, I was abducted. As I opened my eyes and beheld him, I could scarcely contain my laughter. The cunning and treacherous Chu Ruyuan had finally made his move. He was a lovesick individual, harboring a secret affection for his sister, Chu Miao Miao. Upon discovering that she was not his biological sister, he was overwhelmed with joy. Seizing the moment when Chu Miao Miao feared being abandoned by the Chu family, he ensnared her with temptation, assuring her that as long as she complied, he would never allow her to leave the Chu household. One weekend, while the entire Chu family was away, the two of them became entangled in a passionate rendezvous in Chu Ruyuan's room, which I happened to witness, leading to the orchestrated incident of my fall. Yet, I was not amnesiac, I was reborn. In my previous life, it was at this very juncture that I met my end. Only after my death did I realize that the world I inhabited was a narrative steeped in obsession, with the male and female leads being Chu Ruyuan and Chu Miao Miao. All those who dared to obstruct their union would meet with dire consequences, including the rest of the Chu family. Not long after my demise, Chu mother discerned the peculiarities between the two and vehemently opposed their relationship, even contemplating sending Chu Miao Miao away, a move that struck at Chu Ruyuan's core. In retaliation, he disclosed the Chu family's corporate secrets, resulting in their bankruptcy while he absconded with Chu Miao Miao, thus crafting a tale of false siblings entwined in obsession. It is unlikely anyone would fathom the depths of his scheming nature, concealed beneath a facade of insignificance within the Chu family. Upon my rebirth, I, weary and beleaguered, contrived to ensnare Wei Lin, seeking a glimmer of hope. With the aid of the Wei family, I now hold the secrets of the Chu family in my grasp. Once disseminated, their downfall will be inevitable. Yet this only pertains to the Chu family, not to Chu Ruyuan. He could easily abandon the entire Chu family and elope with Chu Miao Miao, just as in my previous life. I cannot allow them to live so lavishly. As I prepared to strike Chu Miao Miao, I braced myself for his retaliation. Thus, I awaited his response. What are you laughing at? Chu Ruyuan's figure lurked in the shadows, mirroring the darkness within. I laugh at your foolishness, oblivious to your own ignorance. You dare call me foolish? Chu Wenwen, do you seek death? Chu Ruyuan's grip tightened around my throat. Yet, my smile remained radiant. If you wish to be with Chu Miao Miao openly, All you need to do is send her back when I return and clandestinely bring her to your apartment. However, by keeping her here, it signifies that you can never be together openly. The Chu family will position her to entice Wei Lin as a pawn for marriage. I am aware, he replied, but Miao Miao desires to stay, and I can only assist her.
Oh.
And if she wishes to marry Wei Lin, will you aid her then? Absolutely not. She belongs solely to me. I gestured towards the recording on my phone, urging him to play it. After a moment's hesitation, he extracted my phone from my pocket and activated the audio. Mom, will Wei Lin truly come to see Chu Wenwen? Of course. He comes every day, albeit at unpredictable times. You must seize the opportunity. Rest assured, there was no chance before, but now I can surely win him over. Why must I harm Chu Wenwen? What is your objective? Why concern yourself with such matters? Just do as you're told. Since we are partners, you must demonstrate your sincerity. Very well. I have my sights set on Wei Lin. Once Chu Wenwen is out of the picture, he will undoubtedly fall for me.
Oh.
So you aspire to be the future mistress of the Wei family? Precisely. But don't you have a boyfriend? I saw him pick you up the other day. He is not my boyfriend, merely a pervert. Once I secure Wei Lin, I will never look back. That pervert wouldn't happen to be you, would it? I laughed unabashedly, my eyes gleaming with derision. His hands tightened around my throat in fury, yet I maintained my smile, allowing him to constrict his grip. Cough, cough, cough. Just as I felt my end was nigh, he abruptly released his hold. Are you seeking death? Cough, 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 of course. Once I am dead, you will be hunted, and Chu Miao Miao will fulfill her wish to marry Wei Lin, while you will forever remain unfulfilled. The very thought brings me immense satisfaction. This is the retribution for your scheming against me.
Ha ha ha.
No, it cannot be. I will not allow Miao Miao to leave me. Never. He whispered this with conviction, then pressed a cloth over my mouth and nose. Upon awakening once more, the dawn had broken, and I found myself in what appeared to be an abandoned factory, surrounded by concrete and steel. I had made an agreement with Wei Lin that if I went missing, he would immediately alert the authorities. Thus, I merely needed to await his arrival. Not far from me, Chu Mother was similarly bound to a chair, while Chu Ruofeng writhed at her feet. As Chu Ruofeng collided with her, she gradually opened her eyes, surveying her surroundings until her gaze fell upon me. Initially poised to unleash a torrent of curses, Chu Mother fell silent upon noticing the ropes binding me. Chu Mother glanced down, spotting the tightly bound Chu Ruofeng.
Shall phone.
I watched as the two struggled, exhausting themselves in the process. Chu Mother gasped for breath, turning her attention to me. Who has abducted us?
Chu Zuyuan.
Nonsense. Why would Ruyuan kidnap me? I am his mother. Oh, it is because he harbors feelings for Chu Miao Miao. And he loved her even before he discovered she was his biological sister, but feared your disapproval. Chu Mother's expression shifted from anger to shock, ultimately transforming into disbelief. Even Chu Ruofeng's eyes widened in astonishment. You lie. You are nothing but a deceitful harlot, daring to slander my son. But what if everything I said is true? Chu Mother's voice faltered, and she shook her head vehemently. No, they are siblings. There is no blood relation. But, can you imagine? He has kidnapped Chu Miao Miao. What do you think he is doing right now? Chu Mother seemed to grasp something, her stomach turning in disgust. When Chu Ruyuan returned, he caught sight of the expression on Chu Mother's face, and the joy he'd felt at having his beloved was abruptly shattered. Ruyuan, she is lying, isn't she?
Mom.
You already know. Everything she says is true. I have loved Miao Miao since childhood. Will you support us? Where is Miao Miao? Lin Ruyuan did not respond but continued to persuade. Miao Miao has married me. We can still live together. After all, the young master of the Wei family is enamored with Chu Wenwen, so it won't hinder your marriage alliance. Isn't that splendid? But she is your sister. We share no blood relation. Why can't we be together? You raised your daughter for over a decade, and now she transforms into your wife. The Chu family will be ridiculed. All you care about is the Chu family's reputation, yet you have never considered my feelings. However, your opinions no longer matter. Miao Miao is entirely mine now. Beast. Almost simultaneously, Chu Ruofeng suddenly lunged at Chu Ruyuan. The brothers became embroiled in a fierce struggle, and I shrank back, hoping not to be inadvertently harmed. It was Chu Ruyuan's anguished cry. My curiosity compelled me to turn and see what transpired, only to hear Chu Miao Miao's hoarse voice.
D, D, D.
The sound of something piercing echoed behind me, accompanied by Chu Miao Miao's incessant muttering, sending a chill down my spine.
Ah.
Do not touch my son, you wretched woman. Chu mother seemed to unleash a reservoir of energy, straining to rise. Xiaofeng, hurry and stop her. An agonized grunt resounded as Chu Miao Miao struggled fiercely. Let go of me. Let go.
Ah.
Alongside Chu Ruofeng's anguished cries echoed the voices of the police. They were here. After being rescued, I finally grasped the gravity of the situation. Chu Ruyuan lay before me, his chest a gruesome sight, lifeless.
Chu Miao Miao.
Clad in tattered clothing and draped in a police uniform, appeared disheveled, while Chu Ruofeng clutched his arm, blood seeping through his fingers and staining the ground. In a fit of rage, Chu's mother slapped Chu Miao Miao across the face, accusing her, "It's all your fault, you wretched girl. How dare you seduce my son? I should have sent you away long ago. You owe me my son. You owe me." I could bear to watch no longer, and allowed the female officer to assist me away. After taking just a few steps, I heard a commotion erupt within.
Chu Miao Miao.
Driven by some unseen force, shoved her mother to the ground. Breaking free from her restraints, she charged at Chu's mother, who stumbled backward, her head striking the concrete. Thick, crimson liquid began to pool around her as she succumbed to death on the spot. The news of Chu Miao Miao having killed her mother and brother spread rapidly, with the most fervent discussions revolving around her incestuous relationship with Chu Ruyuan. After all, Chu Miao Miao had always been perceived as the legitimate daughter of the Chu family, while I, in contrast, was merely their adopted daughter. Furthermore, there were murmurs regarding her attempts to have me kidnapped, assaulted, and threatened, most of which seemed to stem from jealousy towards me. The Chu family's business plummeted, and Chu's father, along with Chu Ruocheng, scurried about in a desperate bid to salvage their reputation. Chu Ruofeng, having witnessed the death of his family members consecutively, grew increasingly taciturn. The once flamboyant youth had vanished without a trace. As for me, I departed from the Chu household, for I was merely an adopted daughter, and they had not even bothered to register me. With the money I had entrusted to Wei Lin, I purchased an apartment, resolutely dedicating myself to preparing for the college entrance examination. Chong Min and I genuinely became friends. After conversing with Wei's father for a while, he officially joined the tutoring group with Wei Lin. Unsurprisingly, Wei Lin was now fervently eager to compete with him. Upon exiting the examination hall, Wei Lin, with a grim expression, spoke up, "Chu Miao Miao, have you been deceiving me? You already know the answer, yet you still ask? Aren't you going to apologize?"
No.
"Rather, you should remain indebted to me." "I think so too, which is precisely why I haven't apologized." "What nonsense." I shrugged, walking alongside him. Amidst the throngs of people, I seemed to catch a glimpse of Lin Ruofeng's figure. Yet, I resolved not to indulge my curiosity any further, for I was poised to embark on a new chapter of my life. The end of the narrative. Thank you for listening. Until we meet again in the next tale.